Hey, everybody, welcome to So Many Sequels, your book club for movies. I'm Josh.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm David.
And welcome to our special Oscars recap episode. Very
I'd like to
excited.
thank the Academy for this award.
Really. Play him off.
Into the floor.
He's rubbing the letterbox trophy in our face, the unofficially named letterbox trophy. But
Yeah.
it's been a great year for movies, and I'm really excited to talk about these Academy Awards, these 98th Academy Awards here tonight.
I do think it ended up being a pretty good year for movies. Yeah, I agree with that. Oscars were last night, so we're gonna just we're gonna talk about some of our favorite moments, etc. Just a quick little recap of what we thought of the show. You should follow us online if you haven't done that yet. SoManySequels.com. You can follow the show on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get podcasts. We would love to have you. Follow us on Instagram at SoManySequelsPod. You can also join our Discord. You can find out more about that on SoManySequels.com. So go do all that. Follow us. We would love to hear from you. Okay, like David said, this was the 98th Academy Awards. Came on last night as of this recording. On ABC, hosted by Conan O'Brien for the second time. Big night for a lot of movies, a lot of people. Sinners went into this with 16 nominations, the most of all time.
Mm-hmm.
We got a couple really big first time wins. Not just for people, but for like entire groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
We had a tie.
Mm-hmm.
So many exciting things in this friggin' Oscars. So, what'd you guys think? We all watched it. We didn't watch them together, but what was your overall vibe on it? What about you, Garrett? What did you think?
You know, it could have been the experience, but I found the show itself kind of meh.
Sure.
It didn't, last year's felt so infused with Conan.
Mm-hmm.
And this year it kind of felt like he didn't put his full effort into some things, and it just
Conussy.
Yeah, it was kind of just, and it's hard to live up to those kinds of expectations because of the smash that he did. And I don't think it was a problem with that. I just felt like the pacing felt off for the night. It felt like the production pieces just didn't quite come together the way that they would want. So the show just kind of felt a little off kilter. And I think because I hadn't seen as many of the movies, I didn't have as much connection to a lot of this stuff. So, some of the bits I didn't get. They didn't quite land. And so for me, I think it was just kind of like, all right, I'll turn it on and see what happens and make sure that I get my wins for our pool. But overall, I mean, for me, I think the in memoriam is the thing that stands out the most. And I think that's a problem, actually. But what about you guys? Do you guys am I off base here?
No, I actually feel like that was like the most normal take of all time, truthfully.
Okay.
I don't. I think I probably enjoyed it a little more than what you described, but I take no issue with what you just said. I do think that and like, I don't know. Sometimes I confuse myself because I also thought it could have used more Conan, but then I saw some people online talking about they thought there was too much Conan. So I would not say that was a prevailing thought. I just saw all kinds of mixed reactions this year. So I don't know. Because I would agree that it felt a little off in terms of just like cohesion
And I think
and comedy, but it was far from being bad.
Yes. I think that, David, you and I watch a lot of wrestling, and sometimes you don't have a good crowd. And I feel like that was a big issue. I think the crowd was not hot, and it translated. Like, none of the jokes were landing. And I thought they were pretty funny, the ones that I heard. But man, you put this show on for entertainment purposes, but your audience is a bunch of entertainers who are just there for vanity purposes, and they are not having a good time. Like, they're not here to laugh. They're here to get their awards and be doted upon. And I feel like it just really felt like it this year. And a lot of times that's not the case.
Yeah, to kind of, I don't know, to kind of weigh in on that. I think for the most part, I'm pleased with the outcomes.
Yeah.
The show itself, I agree. It felt like it did like lack or something. I have a specific thing I want to call out in the WTF section, but it's the the run of the show, it felt weirdly paced. They did this thing where they were only going to do 2 of the music performances for the best song for the nominated songs, which was like very strange because like when that first one happens, you're like, okay, and it feels like okay, this should kind of book into some sections, but then like it was a long time, and then all of a sudden they started doing the second one. They started doing gold. I'm like, oh yeah, where were the other ones? Like this, we're getting towards the end of the show here, and they're just now getting to the second song. How much left is there in this show? It just didn't feel like it was balanced quite right. That said, really, like I said, like the outcomes. Conan was very funny in his monologue. There were some good bits along the way, but yeah, I think that it was a year where it really felt like it was a 2 movie show. Like there were 2 major movies, and like if you look at the films that won multiple awards, there were I think 4 of them. Yeah, 4 movies won more than 1 award this year. So it kind of felt like there were, in the categories that they weren't nominated for, you had some interesting stuff going on, but otherwise it was like this or that or this or that, and so it's just kind of I don't know, yeah, low energy at
Low
times.
energy. It was very low energy.
Please
Um,
clap.
very please clap energy sometimes. But yeah, it sucks because I don't think it was Conan's fault, but I do
No,
think maybe everybody involved played it a little safe this year, which
I
you
think
know
also there's
what?
just
Things are hard.
I
And
think
maybe
people
we just play it safe
I
everywhere
think
for a while.
even the the people in Hollywood, they're a little sad about things. They're like
Yes.
whether it's the administrations that are in power or whether it's the state of various wars around the country or whether it's AI and how it's coming for all their jobs.
Man, you seen the gas prices? It could be that too.
Any
I'm
even
trying not to see the gas
Conan
prices.
had a joke that he led off with that I think summed it up. And the reaction of the audience, I think, Garrett, nails what you're talking about, is when he said,
Yeah,
last year when I hosted this show, Hollywood was on fire. And now everything's
Everything's
fine.
yeah,
Right. Or something
yeah.
like it's something
it was
that
that.
and like the
Yeah.
with clear sarcasm. And then everybody's also thinking about, yeah, Warner Brothers, who's winning all these awards, they're not gonna be like a real studio pretty soon.
Right.
And you know they're laughing at Ted Sarandos, who's being a
Yeah.
good sport about being in a theater for the first time,
That
but everybody's
was
thinking Netflix is coming for all of us.
a good bit because it was kind of like calling the monster out to its face. Like, yeah, he's sitting there laughing, but brother, people don't want you there. You're
Mhm,
ruining things. And it really is. Like, the bit was him as a Bond villain or whatever, acting like people
mhm,
should be home alone so he can monetize it. And that is 100% what these people want. They
mhm.
don't, yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's a
the
different
dark
story.
joke is it's not
That's a
even a
different rant.
joke. Yeah. No, for sure. There is a weirdness in the room. Um, I mean, they also called out that the ceremony is going to YouTube in 2 years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Things are changing fast and in scary ways for people who are like in that industry and have been in it for so long that they're
Yeah,
like,
and
because Hollywood, they're big on tradition,
mhm.
and their tradition's it's changing whether they're going to
Yeah.
go with it or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and and like they're the Academy, and like I mean, and Conan is he has a lot of fun with it, I think, and it's easy for some to laugh with it, but he jokes about the younger demo and what again like what appeals to them and YouTube and things like that, and yeah, that younger demo is not I don't know they're not as into this
No.
into the like the awards show as a concept, I think so it's gonna be and like the pace of an award show. It's gonna be really interesting to see how the Oscars evolves.
Yeah. I think that this is something that I've always had with the show in itself is the pacing of everything. Like it's a 3-hour show.
Mm,
You didn't have many performances. You leave all of the big stuff for the end as opposed to kind of spacing them out throughout the night. You can still end with big or like best picture if you want, but put best actor, best actress, best director, stagger them at the end of each hour so that way there's something to kind of build towards. And it's not just going to be, I can just tune in for the last 5 minutes and watch the big ones that I care about. Um, and I do think that you're going to have to break it up. You have to make it more of an entertainment than a elegance. Um, but I feel like we've ranted on the show. One of the things that I was excited about was the addition of the casting category, because I think that was the first. I think I knew about it, but I think it was the first time I really remembered that it was happening this year.
Mhm.
So to see a new category being recognized and people being recognized for the work that they've done, that was a lot of fun, and I really liked that. And it made me remember that soon we have the stunt category coming up. So we've got some new categories to look into, which I
Mhm.
think are going to at least give
That'll
some
also help.
different kinds of people some recognition, some more behind the scenes stuff in a fun way. So I think that could be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And this was the first new category since 2001, I believe, when they added Best Animated Feature. It's apparently seems like it's a pretty high threshold to get a Academy Award, you know, category. And they're more likely to get rid of some in the near future than they are to add more new ones. But it was very nice to see, and I thought that as far as uh, first time winners goes, one battle another is a pretty decent one to go with.
Right, yeah, which was, I think, a surprise to a lot of people. I believe Sinners was really favorited to win that one,
Yeah,
in a lot of the critics list and whatnot that I
I
saw,
kind
so
I kind of think personally, I think you have to, if it was one of those things that was logical, it would probably go to sentimental value since everybody in that cast got nominated for Best Acting Award.
well, look,
Like they had a Best Supporting Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting
if
Actress.
you follow logic, the whole thing falls apart
Yeah,
because it's like, well, then why is there even a Best International and Best Picture? Shouldn't the winner
that's a
of
good
Best
question.
International be automatically and then Best Animated? Shouldn't that be included automatically in Best Picture? But it's not.
Yeah,
You can't use logic.
no, the logic gets
Because
a
also,
little.
yeah, so many people were nominated for best acting in sentimental value, which was great. That was one of the ones I got to sneak in um, before the show, and I enjoyed it. But it was, yeah, it's heavy. Great performances. Let's shift into talking about some of those big awards and the winners of them. Let's hit up acting first. There was some fun surprises in there.
Mhm,
First winner of the night in the acting category was Amy Madigan for Best Supporting Actress in Weapons.
mhm.
This was her first win, and what it was her first win, right?
It was
Yeah.
her first win,
I was gonna
second
say, and it was her
nomination.
first nomination since almost 40 years ago or
Yeah.
something like that. Crazy. It's a huge drought to finish to complete.
Mhm.
Um, and I really
And for
enjoyed.
like crazy freaking role, man. I mean, Weapons is a crazy bonkers movie, and that role is wild. So for her to
And
be nominated and take it home for
and
that, I think that's a huge showing of the Academy recognizing a horror performance and a performance like that.
Really unique performance. Really, when you look at it compared to the others in the category, very different. Stands out. It was the only. This was the only category that Weapons was nominated in. And it is very
yes,
rare for a movie to win in the only category that it's nominated for. But this was a truly I think this was the best category for Weapons because Amy Madigan's performance is. I mean, it's whatever you want. Like if this was 20 years ago, she'd be like one of the most iconic horror villains. She'd be on she'd be everywhere all of a sudden because she's got a unique look. She's very scary.
yeah,
Um,
she's the first first person to win this award for a horror villain character since Ruth Gordon won for Rosemary's Baby in
mm, mm,
1968. It was really
Wow.
a good night for horror overall. We can talk about that in a little bit,
Sure.
but Amy Madigan, yeah, great little speech.
and she was excited.
She was very excited and surprised. I don't know. I really loved her performance in Weapons.
There there was one thing about this year's awards that stood out to me, which was that with the exception of maybe one, everybody who won seemed genuinely excited to win.
Yeah.
And some years you get people who are kind of a little over it, and they're kind of like they're
Yeah.
like, like they accept the award, but they're like, thank you, this is great, and they kind of like go through their spiel, or they read a really long speech or something. But they
Yeah.
like this felt like everybody was genuinely surprised and excited to win.
Well, and it felt like, again, as we go through some of these, it felt like we didn't just have the same old people getting up there and accepting Oscars. It felt like it felt like a different generation of people up there. So that was really good to see too.
Yeah, that's true. It wasn't a bunch of you had Sean Penn, who's been a mainstay for a long time. Of course he didn't
Sure.
show up.
He was in
But
He was
Ukraine.
the exception. He was like the only person who really wasn't there, and I don't think he
right.
really I don't think he genuinely
I don't think he
cares that
cared.
much anymore.
No.
I think he sold one of his Oscars. So like he's
He's
not
doing
that
stuff
like
for the world and whatnot. He thinks he has a bigger calling at this point in time, and he's
mhm,
off doing things that
doing
help
what he
people.
wants to do.
Good for him.
So more
He's a
power to
little
him.
weird, but good for him. He does good
But
work.
to your credit, new faces like Jessie Buckley wins Best Actress, and I was really sitting there thinking like it might be Emma Stone again, which she's won several awards in just the last 5 years, I believe,
I
and so
know.
it felt like we're gonna get another Emma Stone win here, and Jessie Buckley pulling it out for Hamnet, which I got to watch on Sunday just before the awards. She was so excited, and it's a great win for her. She was fantastic in that movie, and she's becoming a bigger and bigger name every year.
Yeah, love Jessie Buckley. She was my pick to win. Yeah, Hamnet. That movie will fuck you up.
Very sad.
Garrett, you haven't seen it, right?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Well, if you do watch it, it will be very sad.
Yeah. That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, no, it's great. Her performance is great, though. Yeah,
Paul Mescal too. They're also very good.
I really enjoyed it. Then end of the night, we got Michael B. Jordan gets his first Oscar
I was very excited
for
this.
playing Smoke and Stack in Sinners.
2-for-1 special.
2-for-1 special.
I was very excited about this. I honestly didn't think he had a chance. I really I
Really?
wanted him to win, but I thought that the Academy is really Leo is Leo, and One Battle After Another was winning award after award in various categories. And then Timothy Chalamet he obviously caught some he's created some controversy for himself, but he is
Everybody voted
still
by.
I think he's still
Everybody tired of it.
seen as like the golden boy in Hollywood right now. He's broken through in that Hollywood sense of being like a young movie star, even though like people, some will say there's no more movie stars, but I think he's broken through and he's everywhere. And I think that he won like an award last year, and like the actors award or something like that. But so I really thought it was between those two. So when Michael won, I was genuinely really excited.
Nice. I figured it was going to be his. I felt like this was the one that Sinners was going to get really recognized for. I felt like One Battle After Another was going to take home directing and Best Picture over Sinners. So I felt like this one was going to be Michael B. Jordan's because of his body of work since he's been around as a kid, his genuine humanity as a person. He seems like a wonderful person that people like love and look up to,
He
and is a good role model just as a person. And so I think that this performance doing two different characters being able, I think that it was his opportunity and an easy, if you will, again, going back to how Oscars are, an easy win for them to give to Sinners, knowing that One Battle After Another was going to get a lot.
Well, and I don't know if
That's not to take away from his deservingness of it. He
but I don't know if I don't know if that's the reasoning. I don't know, Josh. You and I watched a video where they talked about how the voting works, and it's kind of I don't know if this is just for Best Picture.
It is just for Best Picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it could have been still like I just to kind of take it to a political place. You just don't see black men win Best Actor very often. He ran the list, and it's not a long list.
No.
When he won, he seemed shocked, and for him to win for
I think he was.
what is a genre movie? Like, I mean, it's a movie that goes so far beyond its genre, but for what is essentially a movie that, like, I don't know, like, I don't even know if, like, in past years the Academy would have nominated,
They
is
wouldn't have.
genuinely for me so exciting. And I my thought was that Sinners would win big on things like casting and things like written screenplay and maybe even production design stuff. But this was I was man, I thought maybe they'd have a shot at best lead actress, but this was for me, this was like a highlight of the night because I really thought I thought it was no chance because of the Academy. They still so white.
He played it right. He played it right. You know, there's a political game involved, and not even like political, but like political games within the
Mhm.
academy going on where like, there's campaigning going on in behind the
Mhm.
scenes. And um I really think I really think people grew tired of Timothy Chalamet's. I do. I really think
Yeah.
they grew tired of the Marty Supreme I'm hot shit campaign.
Mhm.
I think it peaked too early, and because there was a period of time where it was everywhere and people were really into it, and I think it just overstayed its welcome, and then he went and said that dumb shit at the end and pissed off everyone else.
Well, and I think there's a
And I
level of people don't wanna root for an asshole anymore. I
There's a
think
bit of
the
that
ever
too. He's gonna
I think people are just kinda tired of it, and yeah, I think people soured on it because it just was like, "Oh my god, I don't care."
And I don't even say all this as like I don't mean it as like an extreme critique of Timothy. I think he'll be fine. This is nothing.
Yeah.
He'll probably come back strong next year if he has if he's nominated for Dune or something else. But um Michael B just was committed. He's been doing great in the awards season coming up so far. And not only that, he just was really committed to the role. I saw an interview clip of him talking about how he approached the role, just in an after Oscars interview on the red carpet thing, and he said that I hadn't heard this before. He said he has a thing he does with characters that he plays where he comes up with, like, the earliest memory he can think of for them, and then he journals from that character's perspective, and so he said he did that for both Smoke and Stack. Thought of just, like, got into the character, thought of what he could think of was the earliest memory, and he says he writes their story up until the first page of the script, so that he has an understanding of who they are. And I was like, "That's crazy." He said he does chakra work on the character's childhood trauma. I don't
Whoa.
even know what
Interesting.
that means, but it sounds like something you should give someone an Oscar for.
Again, you think about the work that he's done just across his career and where people have seen him, whether it's The Wire. I remember him in Parenthood and the TV show there.
Fruitvale Station,
Yep.
Mhm.
um,
He becomes the characters,
Killmonger.
he is one of those actors where he just becomes whatever character is. He is Killmonger. He's not Michael B. Jordan, and that is such a compliment to his ability. So few actors can be in so many different kinds of roles, different kinds of
Well,
shows, and like some of them are hard, some of them are empathetic, some of them are vulnerable. Like he's got such a range. He's just an incredible actor.
and I wanna say I think he is, and this is what I think Timothy wants to be. This is what Leonardo DiCaprio is. Is a leading man. Like he's not necessarily, whether he's playing a villain like Killmonger or whether he's playing, the leads and centers. Like he's got that look. He's got like a classic star look, and yet he's unique. Like yeah, he disappears into those characters, but it's still like yeah, that's Michael B. Jordan. Like there's some like it's kind of
Yeah.
like it's kind of you watch Harrison Ford back in the day. It's like it's always Harrison Ford, but there's just something it's just like it's Harrison Ford as blank, and he's living it. He's making this character feel real. I don't know. Uh, I look forward to where his career goes from here. I do think that who else was nominated in this category? I think this was I said to Nikki, I think this is the most stacked cast or stacked category, or one of the most stacked categories. Maybe supporting actor is that way as well. Everybody in this gave great performances, so it's just a matter of preference, really.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about Best Picture for a little bit. Best Picture is one you mentioned it a little bit earlier, David. It's voted on a little differently. So they basically do ranked choice voting for Best Picture. For anyone who is unaware, that is where everyone will cast their vote.
Mhm.
Um, for like number one, this is who I want to win, and then my second
My
favorite,
second choice, my
so on and
third. I
so
mean,
forth.
yeah.
And they eliminate ballots for the lowest vote getting movie up until they're down to the final two, or one gets 50% um or more of the vote. So that's why there's some weirdness with Best Picture, and it's a little more unpredictable because you know
Because you could be,
you don't know
you could get
you
the
don't know
third
what everyone's
place.
second favorite is.
You could be third in terms of first place votes, but you could get enough second place votes that it pushes you past number 1 and number 2. Like it's just kind of like you never really
Right.
know how it's going to shake out by the end of it. Um,
But kind of like Garrett said earlier, this was still pretty obviously a fight between two movies. It felt like the whole time, which was one battle after another in Sinners, and it did end up going to one battle after another. Anybody feel any real strong type of way about that?
Feel like David might.
no, I mean, no, I mean, I said at the time, One Battle Another is a really good movie. It's a good movie, but
Yeah.
I would prefer Sinners
Sure.
personally. Um, I mean, I preferred several movies before it, but it's a good movie. I mean, it's a worthy movie to be number one, and I think that you go back and we have been doing this now for a few years, looking at Academy movies, and you go back and you look at the other movies nominated, and there are a lot of movies that lose Best Picture but are still legendary movies. So it's not really a knock in this scenario for anybody, and I don't think like anybody was robbed or snubbed or or anything like that.
No.
So I think it's a fine winner. I'm just not I'm not as high on it, I guess, as other people are. That's not to say that I'm not positive on it. But yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson's been doing this for a long time. Ryan Coogler, this is technically like his fourth film, like fourth feature film. So, from a old head Academy standpoint, they're probably thinking Ryan Coogler's got maybe 20 more movies in him. Paul Thomas Anderson maybe has, I don't know how much longer Paul Thomas Anderson wants to keep making movies, but like he's been passed over year after year for movies that might have been more deserving than One Battle, or, you can judge that how you want to. But there you go. I think he deserves to win, but yeah, so I have no strong feeling.
I would say that of the PTA movies I've seen in recent years that have been nominated for Best Picture, I am glad it was this one.
Mm.
Like I would have not liked it if Phantom Thread had won. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that movie was rough. This was a completely different experience for me as a viewer of films.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I didn't feel strongly either way. I If I were a member, I would have voted for Sinners, but One Battle would have been my second probably in this particular ranking. So I'm happy with it. There's always going to be strong opinions from the peanut gallery online, um, who are like, "But
Like,
Sinners made more money." I've already
yeah,
seen
and
that pop up.
I've also seen
Like money
people
makes
are
a
like,
difference.
there are some people that are like one battle after another. This is the crash of 2026. They're talking
Oh,
about, and
first of all, you can't have watched Crash if you think that.
oh,
That is some
like
child's
this is not,
opinion.
like no. Look, there might be some very interesting commentaries or criticisms that you could make, about how these
Yeah,
two movies both present their commentary on culture or whatever. You could there's some interesting conversations to have.
yeah.
However, I don't think we have to be silly and be like, this is highway, this is robbery, anything
No.
like that. Like it would have been
Yeah.
robbery if F1 won.
Now we're talking. I agree. I agree. Yeah. That would have been robbery for somebody.
Before we get into like
Yeah, please.
the theme months that we've got here, I wanted to talk about some of the history categories because we talked about the casting
Yes.
already,
Yeah.
but results to Sinners, they won multiple awards. One of the ones that they did and set a history making award win was their cinematographer Autumn Doral Arkapow, who was the
Yeah.
first woman of color to be nominated and the first woman to win for
Yes.
cinematography. So
Mhm.
that's crazy that we're still
Yes.
having these moments where for things like that, these people are like women are still just now setting first wins. Like that's crazy to me.
Mhm.
It is,
Yeah.
well, and it is just kind of a sign of how long it has taken to change the industry where they're getting the opportunities to make movies at this scale. And then to get into the conversation of just, like even once you start having enough that you're making movies at this level, like, cause there are a good number of women directors. There's not like, I'm sure that many would argue for more, but there are a lot of women directors, but it's still every year only like 5 directors get nominated. So to,
And
like
they're
it's
never
really,
women.
and
Yeah.
then very rarely you might get
Very
one.
rarely.
I think one year we had 2 female nominees for
Well,
the first time
Chloe
ever. And it
Zhao
was,
won within the last several years. So
you know,
but yeah, it's very rare
but it's
still.
very rare to get 2 nominees. in the same year. So I mean, it's just we're still getting that point, and it's always going to be difficult to have total equality or parity or whatever the right word is there in terms of there's only so many people that can be nominated. But
Yeah.
The
it
other one
is
that I
great to
wanted,
see that history
yeah.
like that.
The other one that I wanted to say real quick was Golden won for Best Original Song. That's the
Mhm.
first K-pop song
Mhm.
to win an award like that. And I don't want to say this because I could be wrong, but I feel like K-pop Demon Hunters, which won Best Animated Feature, and you can go listen to our episode. We all loved it. Is the first like K-pop representation to win an Oscar for Best Animated Feature like that. So like they set some incredible historic records there, and there's more to come from that franchise too.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. No, I mean, that was another one where I was pretty confident that K-pop would win. I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound like a knock on K-pop Demon Hunters. It's like one of my top 5 movies of 2025. The Academy, when it comes to animated films, they more often they kind of vote by popularity, not necessarily artistic merit. Um, so you kind of had a feeling it was going to be K-pop Demon Hunters. It's been the animated movie of the year for a full year. Kids are still singing and loving it. Like it's a huge movie, and it didn't it wasn't set up to be. Like it was set up to be quietly dumped on Netflix more or less, and it became the biggest animated movie at least of 2025.
Yep.
Sorry,
Uh,
that's all I wanted to bring up.
and then yeah, our theme of the month was the writing awards, and so those also went to our two big movies of the night. Best adapted screenplay went to Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another, and best original screenplay went to Ryan Coogler's Sinners. Both first time winners in this category. Very cool for both of them. Honestly, I
Yes.
this is something that this is one of those categories where it's like you can't have them both win best director, but you can have this.
Yeah, he can have
Yeah,
this.
In a weird split, which is nice. So,
and both
I don't know. I don't have much else to say that we haven't already said about
no,
both of these movies, but I was, happy, but it was unexpected, or
I
it
am.
was
Yeah.
Yeah,
expected.
Yeah,
these
no, it
were
was
expected, and
yeah.
again, looking at the whole, I don't know what goes into voters' minds right now. I'm not on the Academy. But if you think that most people are going to be like, all right, Sinners is going to win this, that means Ryan Coogler is going to be recognized for his storytelling, for his scripting. Paul Thomas Anderson is going to get his for that. And then it comes down to best director, right? And so it's kind of a toss up as to how you feel about that as a director. But knowing that these two movies that are the frontrunners are in these two separate categories, I'm sure made it a lot easier for the voters, at least in this regard. It didn't really feel like there was much of a chance for anything else.
I do gotta say, I didn't make a bracket this year. I didn't fill out a thing because I never win. I always do like 50-50. But I had, before the event started, I had kind of like light hopes that maybe like it does like a director best picture split where one battle wins best picture, but Ryan Coogler wins best director. And when he won the award for best writing for Sinners, and that crowd went crazy, I was like, oh, maybe he has a shot at like best director because like they were going nuts just for that, and I don't know if it's just because that might have been their first real win of the night at that point. It might have been because it was just after the live music performance, which was incredible. Like they were going crazy. So I thought, man, there might be a chance, but unless it was not to be.
Twas not to be. Uh, yeah. All right. Let's go into the fun part of the night, which is the surprises and snubs and stuff. I felt like the biggest snub of the night was, and I don't know, Marty Supreme got completely shut out. We've
Mhm.
talked about Timothy a bit, but for a movie that got talked about so much, it ended up taking home nothing.
Yeah, 9
Yeah,
nominations.
yeah,
A lot of controversy surrounding that as it came down to the stretch with not only Chalamet, but Sadfi and all of that stuff. I think the steam just really got
correct.
taken out of this.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, it was. I haven't seen it, but it was praised for most of its things. I'm sure it. What I mean, the Safdie brothers are very good at what they do. So I'm sure it was quality in those regards, but but not the only one to get completely shut out. We had a lot of pretty big. I mean, the other major categories that I think there were a lot of movies that got multiple nominations and walked away with only one or zero. But Yeah, Marty
Not them
Supreme
all
does.
got 9 though.
Yeah, not them all got. Marty
That's why
Supreme.
it's a big snub.
Marty Supreme is. I don't know. I'd have to see it, but I'm worried it's going to stress me out.
It will, and
Yeah.
you won't like it. I don't think you will. And you're gonna walk away and you're gonna go, "Wow, he sucked," and you'd be right.
Well, that's what I anticipated. Was like the character kind of sucks.
The character
He's
does
kind of on a
suck.
playing sucky people run lately between that and Bob Dylan.
Right.
It's like that's where his
At least Bob Dylan was a real sucky person, or is
is
a
the
real
Dune
sucky
guy.
person.
Is the Dune
The
guy kind
Dune
of
is not
insufferable?
real.
But is the character kind of insufferable?
Not in the same ways.
I mean, he's from another universe, and the guy's name
he
is
does have a
Paul.
savior complex. Yeah, he does have a savior complex. So yeah, that could be a problem there. Biggest surprise to me, was the tie that we got in the best live action short category.
Yeah,
that
that
is
was
rare.
crazy.
It's only happened 6 times in history.
Mhm.
Last time was actually not terribly long ago. I think it was
Yeah, I
best
felt like I remembered it.
editing or something. I believe it was
Yeah.
2021. But it is still really rare to happen. I loved how Kumail Nanjiani, the presenter at the time, handled it.
He's the
Yeah.
best person to be able to handle it in that
He
situation
immediately-
because he's just so funny.
He is, and he
He's like,
immediately
"It's
took
not a joke.
control.
It's
He was
not a
like,
joke." Yeah.
I could tell. He was like, I'm not letting this happen to me. You're
Yeah.
not gonna. I will take full control of this. There
Yeah.
are 2 people.
Yep.
I will get through them both.
I have to
And
wonder
it-
on there, did they set him up and say, now, Kumail, like they knew, they said, if there's a tie, which is very rare, here's what you got to say. And then he opened it up and he saw it's a tie and went, no, it's the thing they told me could happen, but wasn't.
He
Oh,
was
man.
on it so quick that I would have to suspect he was given a big
was
hint.
Rumor
Yeah.
is that the only people that know are the ballot cast, or the people
That's
who count the
true.
ballot are the only people who know what is happening. So I don't know. It's very
That's
interesting.
true.
So maybe they have with presenters, maybe they have
Maybe
like
they
a
brief
boot,
them anyway.
a boot
Yeah.
camp, and they tell them all like, here's what happens if you have a tie. This is a very rare scenario. I don't know. Yeah,
Because I had
biggest-
the same thought of like, what does Kieran Culkin do if it's Sean Penn and they know he's not there? Surely
Yeah.
they told him what to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think historically, I accept this on their behalf and whatever. That's pretty typical.
Any other big surprises for you guys though? I
Trying
didn't
to-
get to see the shorts, so I can't speak on them. But
Trying to
always
think.
exciting.
I mean, like I said, I was really surprised that Michael B. Jordan won.
right,
but
we already
I
covered
think,
it. Yeah.
honestly, I think my other big surprise was, this is kind of, I mean, I'm going to say that this is a nice surprise. This wasn't like a blown away surprise, but I was surprised by how much they dedicated to Rob Reiner and Robert Redford and Catherine
Diane
O'Hara.
Keaton and Catherine O'Hara.
That was that was a really good portion of the night. Billy Crystal gave a very wonderful speech about Rob Reiner, and then they had several of his frequent collaborators and cast members join him on stage to celebrate him and his wife. That was, and we, just coming out of Rob Reiner month, it was especially nice for us, at least for me, I can say,
Mhm.
to kind of like a full circle moment, at least for us this year.
Well, and they broke it up in a way that they don't typically do. A lot of times they'll play like clips or something of certain people and during those moments, but to kind of take those time and dedicate to those people, I thought was really interesting and added something to it. And I think that because a lot of those deaths were so out of this world unexpected, I think that I don't think that should become a thing that they do on a regular basis, but because we had so many names that were taken in such tragic or unexpected ways, even if it is just like, oh my goodness, I didn't expect that. I think a lot of people were dealing with that, and those 4 just kind of seemed like it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
But other than
Yeah.
that, again, I feel like my show rating is, I mean, to get to that part, I feel like it was like a B minus.
Yeah, and I'll say specific. I'm going to say an A minus, because I think generally I was fine with the awards. I think generally went to the right people. For me, like there's a big what the hell's going on here situation, which was the Conan was fine. He was funny. But the presenters all had the weakest bits. Did you guys notice? Like every presenter came out had like the weakest.
I think
jokes
that's
and
why the
bits.
show was not as great, is because
Yeah.
of the presenters.
it was just like, what? This isn't very funny. This isn't a funny line to go with. And even the ones that were kind of funny, like the bridesmaids reunion where they're reading the notes, I'm like, I agree with Javier Bardem. This bit's going on too long.
Yeah.
You know, it was just kind of a strange night in that regard. And usually presenter bits are pretty funny.
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff like that that I didn't need like that. I don't need Baby Yoda in the audience. Get that shit out of here. I don't need that.
That's from a bygone era.
I enjoyed a lot. There was a moment coming back from commercial, I think, where it really didn't seem like Conan realized he was on air, and he was interacting with the audience, and he was
Yeah.
like, "It's almost done. It's almost done," and I felt that viscerally. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think he knows he's on air, but he's still interacting with the audience, and that I love it.
But then it was so funny. He looked up and goes, "Are we on?" You
Yeah.
can
You
never
never know.
tell.
You never
Yeah,
know.
he does. He just doesn't give a shit anymore, and that's what I love about him.
Yeah.
He's been through too much. All right, so you guys both gave A minus. Is that what I heard?
I gave a B minus.
Gotta
B
give B
minus.
minus. I'm giving
Okay,
an A minus.
okay. I think I'm gonna live in. I'm gonna go closer to Garrett's world. I'm gonna give it a B, not a minus or a plus, just a B. That's where I'm gonna live. All right.
Woo! Oscars, baby. Hey,
That's the
we've
Oscars.
got a
Yeah, we'll
couple of
cut
weeks
that.
left. We might do an episode on one of these writing ones. We
Yeah,
haven't fully
yeah.
decided that yet as of this
Yeah.
recording, but likely.
We still got some best writing features to talk about this month, so stick around for that. Go to so many sequels.com and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. You can get the videos on YouTube and Spotify and the podcast wherever you get podcasts from.
So far this month, we've done 12 Angry Men,
Good Will Hunting.
Thank you. And Do the Right Thing.
Yes. So go watch those. Go find those episodes back on our YouTube channel or on so many sequels.com and let us know what you think of them. Let us know what some of your favorite Oscar movies are. We'll be moving on to a new theme though here in April. So also stay tuned for that announcement coming soon. We got all kinds of fun stuff coming. So follow us on Instagram, so many sequels pod. We'll see you guys later. Bye.